Out here in Glenorchy, in the semi-industrial area of Hobart, there's the mountain, and then between me and the mountain is this lumberyard. That lumberyard used to be a mansion, and you can see the brickwork where the walls are still standing. The roof's gone and the plants have come in, and the only thing that lives there are birds and a few rats.
The grove was built by Captain John Briggs in 1840. In 1868 it was acquired by Stephen Wright, and it became an iconic Glenorchy property with a large orchard and hop grounds. But by just 1933 the house and fine gardens had become abandoned. This picture was taken in 1977. Nobody living there, the land no longer used as it had been. In 1992 it mysteriously caught fire. The owners of the timber yard that owned the land gained permission to demolish the remains, but this was never exercised. Today the ruin is hidden from the eye line of almost everyone. Back behind the warehouses, the broken walls stacked in next to the aisles of timber.
We're down here at Carnelian Bay at the hockey centre. Used to be a big race course a long time ago, and before it was a hockey centre, there's the dog. Before it was a hockey centre, it was a factory, and that's what this chimney's from. The factory shut down, but they never properly demolished it, and it was left alone for so long that people decided the chimney was valuable. It had some heritage quality to it. So that's why it's still there, and it's a landmark that everybody probably looks at, but just sort of, seeps into the background and sits there in your head, and you sort of wonder what it is, but you don't really know, so you just go on with your day.
A jam factory was established in 1934 by the Rosella Preserving Company, who had bought 10 acres of the old Risdon racecourse in 1927. During World War II, the factory was one of the many Tasmanian enterprises that contributed to the war effort. In this 1960 photo of the Brooker Highway facing south, you can see the factory and its chimney to the right. And here, this time facing north, the same building can be seen to the left. In 1966, the Tasmanian factory was closed, and its location adjacent to the sports ground encouraged the Hobart City Council to purchase it.
So we're up here at Bonnet Hill. This is partway between Taroona and Kingston. This road was originally built when this wall was originally built. Now there's motorists going past. Come on, dog. It's all right, mate. This road was originally built to join up Hobart to Browns River. Browns River is now called Kingston. We've got cars going past every minute or two, sometimes every 30 seconds, and there's a sign here telling motorists not to stop and steal any of the wall. It's all falling apart now, it's all sliding in on itself, but it's just one of those things that sort of sits beside the road, and really not too much is known about it. All right, mate, come on.
And here is a pencil-drawn sketch by Thomas Chapman from 1841. Browns River Probation Station was set out in 1839 by Daniel O'Connor, an architect and landowner who exploited the penal system to enrich himself. This is a map and the planned layout of the probation station. Initially built to provide a convict workforce to the area that's now known as Kingston. The station housed 370 people. Their major task was to construct a road for horse and bullock-drawn vehicles a road that today is known as the Channel Highway. The facility only lasted about a decade. After the road was completed, the station dwindled and it officially closed by 1851, 2 years before the convict transportation system came to an end. Between the trees today, only a skerrick of ruins remain of what was a sizable captured population.
There's no urgency when you come to a ruin. All you have to do is show up and see if you feel anything. You can't force it. All you have to do is allow it to happen. And this ruin, there's really not much here at all. Just a few of these old bricks, and they're all broken. There's a reason for that. All the good bricks were taken by raiders after the probation station was closed down. It was walked away from. Then over time, people that lived in the area started to come along and take all the good material and build new things out of them. So what we're left with is just all the broken bits of the old building. And that's the same with most abandoned buildings historically, globally. Eventually they'll get reused if there's anything left to be reused. So we're just left with this. These bricks in the bush that are so soft, they don't even make much of a clang when you hit them together. Substandard bricks. Hey, Doc? We're out here at Wilkins Point in front of the famous pink glass. There's a big gap here now, and that's because the pink glass keeps getting smashed. Vandals come along and they break it with rocks. The council replaces it, it gets broken again and again and again, and now the city can no longer afford to replace it. It's just throwing good money after bad, unfortunately. Anyhow, why are we here? Is it a ruin? Sort of. Is this thing we're in a ruin? No, not yet, it's still being used. But the land that it's on comes from ruins. All of this land from where the Derwent Entertainment Centre is, from the highway all the way out here, is only here because of land reclamation. But the things that went in to the soil and the stone and the dirt, where did that come from? Well, a lot of it came from old buildings that were demolished in the city.
This is a photo of the area from 1921 with Elwick Racecourse and Greater Glenorchy beyond it. To the right you can see the waterline as nature had intended. In this different photo from the 1960s the waterline is still the same. But in the middle of the racetrack you can see the since demolished Elwick Drive-In Cinema. Opening in 1956, it was all based on the American way of life that Australians in general embraced after World War II. Here is a photo from the inside, with the screen and the speakers that the cars drove up next to. Looking at satellite images you can see the waterline change, highlighted in grey the imported area of land. When the Hobart Penitentiary was finally closed in 1961, it was swiftly demolished. At the time, the people living in Hobart felt a sense of shame about the facility. They had no desire to preserve any of the worst parts of the building, so it was smashed up and carted by truck up along the Brooker Highway and shovelled into the river. Large sections of Hobart's coastline have been created this way, some of the finest structures dumped into the Derwent. The things we build today may tomorrow crumble into the sea.